The Fanfiction Power Hour is a comedy podcast between friends that does not attempt straightforward readings. The links to the fanfictions are in the description if you would prefer an unaltered experience and to support the authors by giving the stories a like.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Jen and Wizzy's Fanfiction Power Hour. I am your host for tonight, Wizzy Puff, joined as always by the lovely Jen.
Hello there, everybody. Good to be back on the show.
After such a long hiatus.
Yep. Nice to be back in the recording studio. It smells different in here for some reason.
And that wouldn't be a clone that I made of you to record the past 15 episodes because you were off to war. I never did that.
No, I don't imagine that you did. That just doesn't fit your style. Thanks for taking up all those 15 episodes, by the way. That must have been pretty tough on you.
Yeah, it was really, really tough doing that all by myself without a co-host.
Sadly, I was not able to listen. Yeah, I should go back through the backlog.
No, those. There's a surprise in one of those episodes that you can't listen to yet until we get to episode 250.
I seriously doubt we'll get to 250, but okay.
Yes. All right, I bought myself some time. Just have to hope that she doesn't remember that we did this entire exchange by episode 250.
Still do have to look at like the stats and stuff on the episodes.
Oh, man.
So, just saying.
That would be a really funny series of episodes to have missed, though, because that was the entirety of 4th of July, Pride Month, I think the finale for Sunlight Sliders and Celestia Code.
Quite possibly. Oh, God damn it. Now you got me curious. Was it? Okay, so 15 episodes ago was, I think, Friends in Low Places.
Oh.
If I'm counting these right.
Dang. Didn't even get to read that one with me.
Damn. But I did get to read the finale of Celestia Code and Sunlight Sliders. So.
Okay, that's good.
And the April Fool's Day episode.
Oh, nice.
Holy shit, that one was right after those two.
Well, hopefully you'll get to read this one as well as we get into Cloudy Skies and Cherry Pies by Zaphod. Zaphod? Zaphod? Zaphod.
Zaphod.
Don't know how that's pronounced. I'm going to say Zaphod.
Zaphod?
Let's call him Zaffy.
Okay. Zaffy. That's a cute name.
Yeah. A fitting name for a romance episode like tonight as we continue.
Ooh, a romance episode.
Domination of lesbian fan fiction.
What does that mean?
I don't know.
Wizzy, what fics have you been reading?
Look. So, when I say domination and lesbian in the same sentence, it doesn't mean BDSM like most people would assume. All right, that was really good misdirection.
Then what does it mean?
It means that our gal tonight, Spitfire, is quite domineering, huh? Am I right? I don't know. I don't know anything about this show. Please enlighten me.
Also, I noticed that the name is called Cloudy Skies and Cherry Pies, and the description here, the tiny description here, says, on a secluded grassy knoll, Pinky lets Spitfire take a bite of her cherry pie.
Oh, that's such a good description.
What the fuck are we reading?
Okay, so I know what you're thinking. I know you're thinking this is going to be too adult for the podcast. What are you thinking, Wizzy? This is way too... It's like grassy knoll, and that has something to do with the JFK assassination. But don't worry, this one's secluded.
That was not what I was thinking.
Oh. What were you thinking?
Sex, Wizzy.
Ah!
I'm thinking that Spitfire was going to go down on Pinky.
This is two women. Get your mind out of the gutter.
You're gay.
That's two men. That's different.
Wow, you fucking... God. Wizzy is such a homophobe, but only towards lesbians.
I feel like a lot of people actually feel that way, but sort of in reverse. A lot of like bigoted straight men who are like, I could get behind hot lesbians, but not two dudes.
Yeah. I mean, I think the type of people who would say that are also the type of people who think that they can change lesbians, so.
Yeah.
But
Well,
I have heard a lesbian, maybe. Actually, probably not a lesbian, I think. Someone who said that they were a lesbian, that it's not cool for two men to get together.
What? You don't have the right. Once you are part of the queer community, you are not legally allowed to disparage other groups in the community.
Yeah, that's how that works.
There's a whole gay court that you can take someone to for making a claim like that.
Wow, that's pretty impressive.
I'm going there soon because of what I
We
just
gotta
said.
tell the bisexuals. They've had it terrible.
Oh, God. If only we had a space court to deal with all forms of bigotry. But
That'd be awesome.
maybe there is a fan fiction about that. But tonight we're just going to be reading Cloudy Skies and Cherry Pies by Zaphod. All right. Chapter 1.
The only chapter.
Cloudy Skies and Cherry Pies.
We're here.
Pinkie Pie exclaimed as she crested the hill. She slid the basket off her back and placed it safely on the grassy knoll just as her company trotted up alongside her. Spitfire gave a low whistle, surveying the open hilltop. In front of her lay countless apple trees stretching nearly to the horizon. She could almost make out a barn off in the distance. The town of Ponyville rested off to the left side, nestled between another hill and the scores of apple trees. Wow, Pinkie, you were right. This place is perfect. Beautiful, sunny. She brushed her mane out of her eyes pointedly. Secluded?
All right, so now that we've introduced our two characters, fucking wild ship.
Yeah.
Like, this is not a ship that I think anyone has ever even thought about outside of this very fic.
Have these characters interacted in the show?
I don't think so.
Man.
Like, at most, it was for like 2 seconds. Like, maybe they've had screen time together, like they were in the same shot, but...
I want to imagine that she was like kind of into Rainbow Dash, but then when she started getting into the whole Wonderbolts thing, she met Spitfire and got even more into her.
Ooh, that's good. Pinkie likes him a certain way.
They need to be able to have the speed to keep up with her energy.
Oh, yeah. I know, right? It's probably the bestest place around for a Wonderbolt to get away from her legions of screaming fans for a while. I sometimes wonder what it would be like if I had fans. They'd probably be all like, "Oh, Pinkie Pie, you're the most super-duper party pony around. Would you sign my snout?" And I'd be all, "That's a weird place to write my name. It'd just wash off the next time you took a bath, silly."
That's why you don't take a bath after getting someone's autograph written on you. Oh, yeah.
I'm never washing this flipper again.
It does get tiresome, especially right after a show, Spitfire said, happy that she still had the time to take a shower before meeting the pink pony who so intrigued her. She had met Pinkie Pie several times before, mostly alongside Rainbow Dash, of course, who made a point to never miss a single show when the Wonderbolts were on this side of Equestria. Speaking of which, I've got to ask, she said, how exactly did you smuggle a dancing bear and its rubber ball backstage at our Baltimore show? I was sure security was going to have a fit when they saw it. Pinkie snorted, remembering the night with a fond grin.
Well, I can't give away all my secrets or else I wouldn't be able to surprise any pony. Let's just say that I'm friends with the Baltimore zookeeper, and I made her a pinky promise that nothing would go wrong if she let me borrow him for a few hours.
I have to say, I've certainly never had a fan offer to bring me such a unique form of post-show entertainment, as you called it.
I don't think the security ponies were very happy, though.
Pinky replied, sticking her tongue out in consternation.
They kept saying, "Sweet mother of Celestia, that's a freaking bear." Like I didn't have complete control of the situation. Crazy, right?
Oh, God. See, I'd trust maybe Fluttershy around animals a bit more than Pinky. Sorry to Pinky.
Well, yeah. I mean, Fluttershy literally has a way to stop any and all animals.
Man.
It's called the stare, by the way. I don't know if we've gone into that.
Oh, I thought it was just going to be she talks to them with her animal talking ability.
Well, she can't really talk to them. That's an EQG Fluttershy thing.
What?
Like, animals in Fluttershy, they understand each other, sort of, but they don't really talk to each other, I guess. At least not that I can remember.
Is it sort of like, real people talking to animals? Are there just some people who can sort of whisper to certain animals?
Yeah. It's more cartoony than that. Like, pretty sure there are times where an animal looks like it's whispering into Fluttershy's ear, and she goes, "Oh, yeah, I get that."
A literal animal whisperer.
So it's possible, but I never really picked up on Fluttershy can actually talk to the animals. But with the stare, she can basically stun them. The stare is so horrifying that she prefers not to use it ever.
Oh, man. Is it kind of like the Royal Canterlot voice?
I would say it's even more intimidating.
Oh.
The only person who has ever actually gotten out of the stare is Discord.
Man.
Yeah.
Surprised that Discord did. Spitfire nodded. After all, it was one of the reasons that she accepted Pinky's proposal at their most recent event in Canterlot with great pleasure.
Let's also be clear here. EQG Fluttershy can only talk to animals with the crystal.
Okay. I was assuming as much.
I just wanted to make sure.
I remembered you saying before that Pegasi had the ability to talk to animals, although you weren't sure if it was just Fluttershy. So I was like, oh, I guess it just means that Fluttershy can talk to animals.
Yeah, we don't really get another pony who can do it as well as Fluttershy, so.
Okay.
I just assumed it was sort of a Pegasus power, like how I assume Pinkie Pie's manipulation of her body is an Earth pony power. Just very rare.
Sort of like the special types of bending in Avatar.
Yes. Actually, exactly like that.
So, she said as she sat down on the comfortable grass beneath her hooves. What's in the basket?
Oh, you're gonna love this.
Pinkie Pie replied, rummaging through the blanket. She pulled out a pie, still warm from the oven, and placed it between them.
Ta-da! My homemade cherry pie, complete with fresh cherries from Philadelphia. I even brought the extra cherries along in case you didn't like pie. But then I thought to myself, who doesn't like pie? Crazy ponies, that's who. But I brought the bowl of cherries anyways, just in case. Funny thing about that, Rainbow Dash does not like pie.
No! I think I remember hearing this before. And then I had made the observation that Pinky would be devastated, and you told me she was.
She was horribly devastated. The episode Secrets and Pies, which is a pretty funny episode.
Nice.
Although not as funny as another Pinkie Pie episode, the one where Pinkie Pie knows, which is when Pinkie Pie has to hide that she knows that Princess Celadia... Pinkie Pie has to hide that she knows that Princess Cadence and Shining Armor are having a baby. That one is, in my opinion, quite possibly the funniest episode of the show.
Man. Does she succeed?
Yes, she is thankfully successful in hiding that fact. But barely.
Man.
By the way, yes, that is the first instance of Flurry Heart. Of us knowing that Flurry Heart exists.
Okay.
In general, I guess.
This wasn't Flurry Heart's brother.
No.
Man, I've never had trouble keeping secrets, I gotta say. I don't understand what the big issue is. Like, I've never told anyone about Jen's secret stash of peanut butter that she keeps behind the microphone.
And I thank you for that. Wait a minute. Oh, no. I thought something was a spider. Never mind.
Ah, phew. Not another spider in the recording booth.
No, thankfully not. What do you mean by another?
Oh my god. I mean, I know that you've had spiders in there before, right? This couldn't have been the first.
I can't think of any time.
Well, maybe Pinky has the answer. Huh? Ah?
Probably not.
She lifted 2 plates and a metal bowl topped to the brim with the bright red fruit out of the basket. Oh, Spitfire said, forcing every muscle in her face to not look disappointed. Well, I was getting pretty hungry anyway.
Okay, so she was hoping to go down on Pinky. Good to know.
Yeah, I mean, Spitfire seems pretty, horny, but I'm pretty sure Pinky isn't into her, in that way at the moment.
We'll see.
So I don't think we're going to have to worry about actually going through a sex scene.
Yeah, but we do know that Spitfire was terribly disappointed.
Yeah.
That she is not going to get to go down on Pinky.
She was actually going to go up on Pinky. That's what it's called in Pegasus culture. Pinky cut a piece of her pie for her guest and one for herself before flopping onto her back.
You know, I've never really had another pony up on this hill with me. It's nice to share it with a friend.
Really? Spitfire asked as she accepted the slice of pie before joining her friend on her back. Why's that? Seems like a pretty good place for a picnic.
It is, but my friends and I like to picnic on a different hill, so I keep this one all to myself. It's my little pretend secret, 'cause it's not really a secret, but I've never told anyone, and I always come up here by myself. It's also the best place in Ponyville for cloud watching.
That's what she calls watching Spitfire. Hey. Spitfire swallowed her bite of pie, relishing in the sweet taste as it graced her tongue. Cloud watching? Like, just watching the clouds go by?
Yes, indeedy.
Pinky gobbled her slice of pie in a single bite, practically swallowing it whole. Spitfire just gawked before shaking her head with a smile. Some things just didn't need to be explained.
And you find shapes in them, and you point them out to your friends, and you all laugh at the silly cloud. What, you've never gone cloud watching as a filly?
What the heck? She said that her friends don't engage in this spot with her.
They don't.
Why is this the best place for cloud watching if she can't even point it out to her friends?
That's a good point. She does it by herself, too.
That's fair. She does seem like she has her head in the clouds. Not really, she admitted, licking her lips of the next bite of pie. I grew up in Cloudsdale, and we were usually flying above the clouds instead of watching them from below. Life of a Pegasus, you know?
Well, now you can learn how to watch like an earth pony. Here, like this.
Pinky scooted over to the mare until their ears brushed against one another, and Spitfire gave an involuntary shiver at the contact. A pink hoof pointed skyward at one of the fluffy clouds passing by.
See that one there? I can totally see a cupcake.
Spitfire squinted at the cloud, turned her head sideways, and even crossed her eyes, but she couldn't quite see the comparison. I don't see it.
Oh, this is where the cloudy skies come in.
Oh, yeah. I just assumed it had something to do with Spitfire, because Pegasus.
Yeah, I thought that too. But no. Sure you do, Spitty. Look.
Okay, Spitty, not a very cute nickname, like Zaffy.
Yeah, no. Saffy's adorable.
Pinky wrapped a hoof around her waist, pulling Spitfire as close as possible to get her at the same viewpoint.
She just kind of crushes the two together.
She's like, oh, I forgot other ponies aren't as squishy as I am.
She like molds around Spitfire like Venom.
Oh, that would make such a good fanfic.
Goodness, Pinky as a symbiote would be wild. Oh my gosh, now I want to make it. See the swirly clouds at the top? Totally the icing on the cupcake. And the clumpy, blocky clouds on the bottom. Well, if you squint your eyes and kind of turn your head, then it looks like the base, see?
In truth, Spitfire still didn't see the cupcake. She was about to say so, but it struck her that maybe this game wasn't all about being right, and was just about goofing off with friends. She grinned and nodded her head. Oh, I can see it now. Oh, how about that one up there? She said, moving her own hoof to point at a thin, high cloud floating by. I can see a feather in that one.
Oh, yeah.
Pinky giggled as she grabbed a hoofful of cherries from the bowl.
I see the shaft right in the middle, and those wispy bits there are the barbs. See, you've got the hang of this already.
I've never heard the anatomy of a feather described that way.
Neither have I. I don't know if I've ever heard the anatomy of a feather at all.
It makes sense.
Checks out.
Huh. Spitfire said as she reached for some cherries herself. I'm surprised you know the parts of a feather. Not many non-Pegasi bother to learn about them. Right? I'm not non-Pegasi and I didn't learn about them.
Yeah. What a coincidence. I like to learn all about all types of ponies. Back when I was growing up on a rock farm, we didn't have a lot to do in our downtime. So when my sisters and I weren't playing together, I would read some books about each type of pony.
She smiled, dropping a cherry into her mouth with a wistful sigh, while the rest fell around her.
It's part of what helped me make so many friends. Since I know some things that might be good for one kind of pony but bad for another. And if I couldn't make friends, then I wouldn't be here enjoying this day with you.
Oof, friend-zoned. Hey, Pinky, answer me something. You said that this hill is the best in Ponyville for cloud watching, right? She turned on her side to face Pinky.
Well, what's the best for fucking...
Hey! Oh, that outhouse over there.
Pinky would know. Yeah, it's got the best view of the sky, and it's not blocked by the apple trees at all.
So why do you keep it a secret? I mean, cloud watching seems like the kind of thing that you do with your friends. Why not have your picnics up here, where they can enjoy it as well?
Shit, this is just answering everything.
Yeah, that's the mark of a good fic.
Yeah. Along with the other 50 marks that we've pointed out over the years.
Yep. Man, the number one way to tell if a fic is going to be good, if it's by Rune Soldier Dan.
That's pretty much the only guarantee, yeah.
Pinky stayed silent for a moment, letting the wind whistle and fill the space between them. Windy whistle.
Sometimes I like to be on my own. Don't get me wrong, I love my friends so much. But I also need a place to be alone with my thoughts for a while.
She rolled over to face Spitfire.
Sometimes I get a little too excited about things, and ponies don't like it when that happens. So I'll come out here if I need a place to be alone for a while where I can't bother any pony by being too crazy.
I think I understand. Spitfire gave a warm smile of her own, resting her head on one of her hooves. You're something else, Pinkie Pie. But I gotta admit that this has been a pretty good day for me, too. They lay for a while in that spot, quietly enjoying the bond shared between them, before continuing their game as the clouds went by. Spitfire even managed to stump Pinky when she swore she saw a cloud that looked like an exact replica of Princess Celestia. As the sun hung lower in the sky, she stretched her hooves with a satisfied sigh. That was a nice rhyme. You know, Pinky, I'm glad you invited me out here today. It's been nice to take a break from the Wonderbolts for a bit and just take some time to relax.
Mm-hmm.
Pinky hummed, chewing on a cherry that she had just popped into her mouth.
God, I wish that were me.
Whoa, you want a cherry right now?
No, I want to be the cherry.
Oh. You want to be crushed to death. Okay, I get it.
Yep.
I can deliver.
Thank God.
Although, Spitfire sat up slowly, turning to face the pink mare. She owed it to her new friend to at least be honest. An embarrassed chuckle made its way past her lips as Pinky focused her attention on her.
It's actually a embarrassed chuckle.
I was trying to save our wonderful Zaffy from the embarrassment of that typo.
Sorry, Zaffy, but you don't get any passes from me.
No!
Jen's back, bitch.
I suppose it'd be lying if I said today was entirely what I expected.
Oh?
Pinky rolled onto her hooves, shaking a few loose cherries out of her mane.
Were you expecting a party? My reputation probably precedes me, since I throw the awesomest parties in all of Equestria.
Well, not exactly. See, it may have been partially my fault for being exhausted after the show, but the way you asked me out caused my mind to go places.
Huh. That's funny. I don't even remember what I said. Was it like a super funny joke or something? I bet I would have laughed at it if I could hear it again.
You came up to me with the brightest smile on your face, looked me right in the eyes, and asked me, quote, "Do you want to come eat my cherry pie?"
Okay, so kids, this is what happened. The misunderstanding for this.
Wait a second. This was all about like a dirty joke?
Seems to have been.
Man, I was totally blindsided by that. I thought this was going to be really about sex, and I was excited.
This is a darn shame. Guess that's what happens when you don't read porn on your podcast.
That's where you have to come to Wizzy's Porncast.
Please?
No.
Oh. Oh.
A silence fell over the duo, broken only by the sounds of Pinky's jaw as she ate another cherry. A look of realization flashed across Pinky's face.
Oh.
Yeah, Spitfire said as she chuckled again. And when it was clear that I had misinterpreted, I thought it would be crude to bring it up again.
Man, Spitfire thought she was getting laid.
She got, I don't know what the pony version of cock-blocked is, but...
I mean, I think it would just be cock-blocked. They probably have the same words.
Oh.
Well, I don't think either of them have, so...
You don't know!
I think the any version of that is clam jam.
Oh, I never actually heard that. It makes sense.
Yep. Hey, don't worry about it, Spitty.
Pinky declared as she wrapped the mare in a tight hug.
Mistakes happen, and this one is more funny than disastrous. Like this one time, I sent out invitations for a costume party, only I had forgotten to write the word costume on the invitation. Thankfully, it was on Nightmare Night, so a bunch of ponies showed up in costumes anyways, but lots of ponies didn't, and I felt super bad for making them feel left out.
You go to a party on Halloween and you're not in a costume, you are a loser.
Kinda, yeah.
Just a fact of life. They shared a laugh along with their hug before Pinky released her. As they wrapped up the remains of the pie and filled the basket once more, Pinky spoke up again.
Besides, I guess I told a little fib too. I mean, I don't ask ponies out on dates unless I really like them, and maybe I was expecting some sugar at the end too.
So, I'm confused. This was a date all along?
Spitfire's gonna get some.
Yes!
You tell me, Spitty.
Pinkie Pie stuck her tongue out at that, and resting right in the center was a perfectly tied cherry stem. Ooh!
Oh man,
oh boy.
Gonna fuck.
A distinct bump from behind Spitfire told her what her mind already knew. She liked what she saw. She bent low with a teasing, predatory smirk on her face. Oh, come here, you. She tackled the pink pony to the ground with a flying leap, mashing their lips together as she let the soft grass that had held them all day break their fall. As the sun dipped low behind the mountains, playful giggles and moans danced on the breeze, and two ponies enjoyed the company of their own private party.
They are fucking.
Oh, man.
Kids, they're fucking.
All right, now we got to continue with this last 100 words. I just start rambling on, improving a sex scene.
Wizzy improving a sex scene would be the wildest, just the wildest thing.
Okay, so like they made their mouths do the touching thing, but then they also did some hand stuff.
And I'm the asexual?
I never said I was asexual. I just said I'm inexperienced.
Yeah, I know.
Look,
Just saying.
I don't know what a sex is. I don't know if I could be asexual.
Good point. Do you reproduce asexually?
Do you reproduce by budding? All right. The end. Author's note. A silly little story that was born from the absolutely adorable cover art. Thank you for reading. And that was Cloudy Skies and Cherry Pies by Zaphod.
Zaffy for short.
Oh, yeah. That cover art belongs to Captain Pudge Muffin. Very good name. So, what did we think of this one?
Is this the closest we've gotten to a sex scene?
I think it's probably as close as I Did Who, but I guess that one's more of like a remembering the sex scene type thing.
Yeah. This one, it says there are moans.
That's true.
Ooh la la.
But then the other one talked about like 8 orgasms or whatever.
That's true. But I still wouldn't count that because it is remembering.
Yeah, that's fair.
Or not remembering. The sex scene happened, but
Sort of like how we don't count the body count in Mare at the End of Forever.
yeah. So that one didn't have sex. I think this is the closest we've gotten to it.
Yeah, it kind of feels like it. Let's go.
And in case you're wondering why I'm focusing so much on the sex, A, whew, do I need some, but B, not much to say about this one. I think I do like their interactions. I think they're very cute together.
Yeah.
I think as wild as this ship is, I think it could be very interesting to read more with this ship.
It really does seem like a realistic approach to the relationship, too, where it's like, oh, Spitfire's not in this for the romantic aspect. She was just thinking she was going to get some. But then she figures out how cool Pinkie Pie is. Turns into something different.
Yeah. And then she gets some.
Yes. She gets rewarded for learning her lesson, you know? I really did.
Who do you think tops?
Oh, come on. Spitfire. What? Of course it's Spitfire, right?
I don't know. I think Pinkie could be a pretty good top.
I think Pinkie's kind of verse. Like, she could do anything in an orgy, you know?
True.
God, this is so weird.
I suppose I can't. I can't really see Spitfire bottoming, but I kind of want to now. In a non-porn way.
I really like the part where Pinkie Pie was talking about how this is like her special alone area, though, because that was like a really good explanation for that little scene. Totally relatable. I actually have a little area of my own in the forest, and you're not allowed there. Stay away.
Oh, okay. It's where Wizzy goes to smoke weed.
I do that everywhere. You think I'd have a special area for that?
Kind of.
Nah, that's just where I go to meet some smoking dudes, eh? Please? Can someone please make this fanfiction come true with me and a hot man?
Oh, you don't even know what sex is.
I'm pretty sure it has something to do with the butt.
He's got me there.
Oh, God.
I liked their characterizations. Like, both of them are pretty in character.
Yeah.
At the very least, at the time. I don't know if I could see this being post Rainbow Dash getting into the Wonderbolt Spitfire, but I could definitely see this being earlier season Spitfire. I really liked
What's
her
the difference?
personality there. It's just like a slight difference. I think Spitfire, after like season 3, she becomes more of a drill sergeant and a bit more stuck up, I guess.
She gets stuck
But,
in her ways.
it's not like we got a lot of her character prior. Either way, I could still see this being Spitfire, really. And a very good version of Pinkie Pie. A lot of times when you get a Pinkie Pie who talks, it feels like someone trying to write Pinkie as wacky.
Yeah, I can see what you mean.
This just felt like Pinkie. Feels like this person understands Pinkie a lot more than a lot of other writers. And it still does keep in a lot of her traits, like the talking for really long and stuff like that. But it does it in a way that it knows when to pull back.
Yeah. I was kind of getting the vibe that Pinkie was really Pinkieified in this one, too, where it's just feels like the right amount of energy, especially when it comes back to the scene where she's explaining how this is like her alone space and she's able to actually get a bit more serious.
Yeah. It's very sweet of Pinkie to take Spitfire to her alone place where they get more serious.
Yeah.
It's just very sweet of her. And I do like Spitfire just going along with the game, even though she's like, I don't see a fucking cupcake in that. That's a fucking cloud.
Come on.
Maybe Peg and I just have different eyes.
Imagine actually being like a cop during cloud watching. It's like, stop messing the game up. You're supposed to only say things that really look like what they look like.
That would also be funny. If you want to write a ship fic that involves that, you can. Would read it on the podcast, but
that would be hilarious. Do you think that they are doing this in Sweet Apple Acres?
No.
They're in an orchard full of apple trees.
I thought it said that they could see the orchard full of apple trees. I could be wrong, I suppose.
I thought that they chose a spot where the trees wouldn't be blocking their view of the clouds. So they're in a clearing, but they're still in the orchard.
Let me see here. The town of Ponyville rested off to the left, nestled between another hill and the scores of apple trees.
Oh, okay. So they're probably on the edge of Sweet Apple Acres, or at least on the edge of the orchard.
Yeah.
It would be hilarious if Applejack caught them.
It kind of would be.
That's how I would have ended it personally.
You know what would be even funnier? If Apple Bloom caught them.
No! Granny Smith, maybe, not Apple Bloom.
Okay, Granny Smith would be way funnier. Apple Bloom would be just uncomfortable.
She's wolf whistles at them.
God, Granny. Granny, why?
She gets mad at them because she realizes they're eating cherries in the apple orchard.
She probably would get mad at that. All right, well, I think that's all I have to say about this.
All right. Then I think that wraps our episode up pretty well. I know I didn't say this earlier, but, if you guys want to get a shot at getting lucky, then go ahead and click the link in the description and check this story out for yourself.
Yeah, I forgot to say that.
Go ahead and press that little thumbs up button because it's a nice little button and it turns green when you press it.
Dang it. It is a bummer that we forgot to say that earlier because it would have been funny to go, and if you would like a taste of her cherry pie.
Oh, God. Thank you all so much for joining us tonight. I've been your host, Wizzy Puff, and I will wish you a good night.
I've been Jen. Good night as well.
You were Jen?
Also your host.
I thought that you were still away. All right, well.
What the fuck? I've been back the entire episode.
See ya!
No. Don't see ya out of this.
No.
Fuck you.
I knew it was you, of course. It was guys, get me out of here. I screwed up so many times this episode. Please, someone just pull the plug. I'm just going to keep saying see ya until it ends.
Just got back. We had a whole welcome back, Jen party and everything.
I'm very inebriated at those parties. You know me. I thought that was for a squirrel.
I thought you got better.
Oh, you think just because you didn't see me drinking. Oh, that's cute.
Man.
All right. See ya.
What the fuck happened in those 15 episodes?
bacon, lettuce, and tomato. That is all.
Beautiful.